Hi, my name is Aeric Wallace. I'm the College and Young Adult Coordinator here at the Market Church. And there was just something really cool that I was reading the Bible recently, and I just thought I'd share it with you guys. I was reading out of 1 Samuel, and it was around chapter 15, and it's talking about King Saul and how he was, anointed by Samuel to become the next king of Israel, and then just his slow downfall, and it really kind of reached a tipping point where he just completely went off, and it was an interesting point, and it all had to do with Saul's lack of obedience to God. So basically, God gives Saul a commandment to go and just destroy these people, to destroy an entire nation basically, because they persecuted the Israelites when they were trying to come out of Egypt. And Saul's like, yep, okay, we'll do that. And he takes his best men, takes his whole army, and he goes and he just starts annihilating these things. But he saves the king, and he saves the best of the cattle, the best of the sheep, for burnt sacrifices to God. Now here's the problem. The commandment wasn't to save the king and save the best of every animal and sacrifice it to me. It was completely destroy everything. It was completely annihilate. So as much as Saul had an obedience and he obeyed God by going and even in his own way, he tried to obey God by doing some sort of sacrifice towards him, that he still failed in what God totally wanted him to do. So God comes to Samuel, his servant, and he says, Samuel, I want you to go tell Saul that I am disappointed that I ever made him king. That I do not wish for him to lead my people anymore, and that I will appoint somebody new. So Samuel goes and confronts Saul. Saul fights back, and he says this at one point. Then Samuel said, do you think all God wants are sacrifices, empty rituals just for show? He wants you to listen to him. Plain listening is the thing. Not staging a lavish religious production, not doing what God tells you is far worse than fooling around with the occult. Getting self-important around God is far worse than making deals with your dead ancestors. Because you said no to God's command, he says no to your kingship. How do we apply this in our real life, our day-to-day? I think there are things in our lives that we accept as okay, that we've become new words for what we call sin, self-indulgence, arrogance. We create our own personas and we remove God from those things, but we still justify that. A pastor once told me that partial obedience is still disobedience. This is such a harsh concept, I think, for a lot of us, because what we're saying at this point is that even though you think you're doing everything right, as long as you are not completely fulfilled in what God wants to do, you're still disobeying him. The challenge today then is to look at things in our life and say, God, how do I change this? Am I accepting sin in my life as an average thing? Am I allowing this to become something that is the norm? God, help me to remove these things from my life so that I can fulfill your promise for me. Thank you so much for listening. Again, my name is Aeric Wallace. I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at eric@themarketchurch.com, visit themarketchurch.com, and come visit us at church at 1314 Jones Street. Thank you.